Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at Oursuccess.group.com. Good morning, Chuck, and good morning, Jim. And thank you guys for being up early and tuning in here, 8 a.m. Central Time for us here in the Midwest, and 9 a.m. on the East Coast. So you're probably already into your Saturday by now if you're over there on the East Coast. Maybe not. Who knows what your Saturday ritual is? But I enjoy getting up every morning and on a Saturday and digging into some stuff that we get to just move forward with our businesses, talk about small business. We talk about things all across the board, from the mindset stuff, which is really what we want to talk about today, to business specific stuff, to just general, hey, we're small business owners. Let's get together. Let's discuss. Let's chat. What ideas do you have? So good morning, Will, and good morning, Allie. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate it this morning. So I'm pretty excited about those of you that haven't seen Small Business Saturday for a while in the public space here. We've moved this inside of our membership group over at Oursuccess.com. Yes, we do. Todd, fantastic idea. Sorry, I got distracted, but this is a great comment from Todd. We need Hawaiian shirts for Club OSG. So that's perfect transition for me here. I wanted to talk about Club OSG real quick. Like I said, we've moved this this broadcast and also a program called After Hours that Todd does, and I'll talk about that in 1 second here. We've moved those inside of our membership program. That way we can kind of go deeper, but just we want to bring the most value that we can each and every week. And so to do that, we felt like we needed to kind of make that more exclusive to our members. But as we started talking to people, we realized that, maybe we needed an entry level point. Maybe you're not quite ready to go all in with the membership, which, would love to talk to you about why that's the case. But if you're not there, what could we do? So Todd had a fantastic idea that we kind of worked out together, and we're calling it Club OSG. And it's going to include access to these live interactions here on Small Business Saturday, as well as the piece I mentioned a little bit earlier called After Hours. As some of you might know, Todd every Tuesday night does Tuesdays with Todd. And typically Todd will test something out, press something, kind of get into the weeds and actually specifically doing things. And he's really good at that. He loves the testing. He's really good at showing it off. He's willing to ruin things, so you don't have to, right? You want to try this new product? Well, Todd's going to try it out for you, that kind of thing. And what kind of started happening there is our members inside of our success group kind of started saying, hey, okay, cool. For example, last week he did patches. Love the patches. Thanks for testing them out. Thanks for giving us some tips and tricks there. But we want to go into the weeds on that, right? How do we price these? What are your costs involved? What are the markets you could sell these into? How can we creatively market these products, and just getting into some of the specifics into the weeds. So not too long ago, Todd created this After Hours program that he's going to do every other week or bi-weekly, twice a month, basically. Todd, correct me if I'm wrong there, but so there's After Hours, then there's Small Business Saturdays, plus you get 10% off not anything. You get 10% off over at fatdadwholesale.com as well as at montco.biz. So that's what Club OSG is all about. Let me actually get that banner up if you want to go check it out. There we are right there. So if you go to Oursuccess.group.com/Club OSG, I saw Chuck in here earlier saying good morning to Chuck, and Chuck is already a member of Club OSG. And Todd just confirmed, yes, twice a month at least. So there you go. So After Hours twice a month, after Tuesdays with Todd, will be available to Club OSG members as well. Again, all of this stuff is included if you're already an Our Success Group member. So for those of you that are already an Our Success Group member, you go get your tea or coffee or whatever, and we'll get into getting unstuck here in 1 second. But if you're not, and you just want to check this out, and you feel like Small Business Saturdays or after hours, or heck, you're buying from Fat Dad Wholesale, 10% right there is going to pay for this membership opportunity. So if you'll go again, check it out over at Oursuccess.group.com/club OSG. That'll give you the information. There's actually during this free preview month, we've got it priced down, I think about 40% lower than its normal price. So I think it's a great opportunity to really kind of just see what our Success Group's all about. And again, it allows us to go deeper in all of these things, really feel like we can bring the value and go from there. So that's Club OSG. And again, we're going to be doing a free preview the entire month of May here. So all of the Small Business Saturdays will be out here live, and you guys can check it out and see if this is something you're interested in doing more of. Todd's got some other after hours coming up this month. I can't even remember what you've got planned, but I know he's got some things in the works. So that's the pitch for Club OSG. I love you to check it out. I think it's a great opportunity to, just keep moving your business forward. Speaking of moving our business forward, I want to get into this, right? I want to get into this whole concept, ways to get unstuck. Right. There we go. Good morning, Mo. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you tuning in. All right. So let's talk about this ways of getting unstuck. So first off, anyone feeling stuck? Or has anybody ever felt stuck? It might not be that kind of completely helpless feeling where, you just want to kind of crawl into the fetal position and hope it all just goes away. Right. But maybe it's just, you've got some anxiety, or maybe that nagging feeling of fear. You just kind of feel like there's a rut, right? You're overthinking things, those types of things. That's what we're talking about here. We're stuck. And here's the other thing. You might not feel stuck across the board. It might not feel like just kind of curling up and just calling it a day or whatever. It might just be one area of your life, right? One of the things that I've started doing within really kind of inside of this pandemic here is really kind of trying to be more intentional about all of the things in my life, the planning, the kind of review. And one of the best things that I've done, I feel like, is each month I basically sit down and look at the month before, right? So I just kind of no prejudice, no judgment, but just kind of rate it. So I've actually got one of the sheets here, and I call it monthly review and celebration. This is actually for the month of, did I pull out March? Oh yeah, that's right. Where's April? Let me get April. That's even better. Here's April. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so here's April. Now, and you'll also see up here, got both of our names on there. So the other thing that we started doing is my wife and I started doing this together. And it's basically just, we've divided up all of the areas of our lives into the things that make sense for us. You can make them make sense for you. But we basically have 5 main categories, and inside of those 5 main categories, we have that broken down into 2 categories each. So the first category is purpose, and that's broken down into growth, and then spirituality and learning. The next category is business, which we break down into our finances and our careers. Creative. And creative kind of is a little bit more all-encompassing, but our creative actually also encompasses our health, and then the fun and things that we get to do inside of our lives. Love, which includes, for me, my spouse, partner, Kylene, and then my family and friends. And then finally, kind of social, and that gets broken down into environmental, house, things around you, the stuff, but just, all of the environment that we surround ourselves with, and then the community, the bigger community, whether it's my local community, whether it's the decorators community here, whatever. So I break down each of those things, and I just, on a scale of 1 to 10, I rate them. And the reason I bring this up is, like I said, I'm not feeling terribly stuck necessarily. I actually got a pretty good flow going right now. But there is one area of my life that I am completely stuck in right now. I'm in that rut. And back on the list here, you can see the one, going the wrong way, going backwards, right here. That for me, right there. That is my health and fitness. I'm carrying around an extra, probably, I hate to admit this in public, but I'm carrying around an extra 40 pounds right now. My ideal body weight is about 199 pounds. I've been setting some high scores on the scale with 240s, 241s. I saw a 242 the other day that, again, not high scores I'm going for here. So, but I just am like, how do I can't seem to get off of that. The whatever's holding me back, there's something holding me back. And it's a choice that I'm making to hold myself back. I understand that. I believe that wholeheartedly, but that doesn't mean that just that I know that I can just go, oh, okay, well, snap the fingers and do it. Right. I tried doing 2-minute planks on Facebook and I couldn't keep up with that. I actually found out that I was kind of hurting my back by doing that, trying to hold that too long when my core is just not in great shape right now. I've been stuck trying to eat better and we do a good job for about a half a day. And then all of a sudden, oh, I don't know how Dairy Queen just showed up from this DoorDash app, or, oh yeah, we should get that dessert or whatever. Right. So that can be the stuck that we're talking about too. I just feel a bit stuck in that and that's okay. But here's the secret that nobody told us about these feelings and these emotions and just kind of the things around that stuck is Jim, stop eating wings and drinking beer. There you go. The funny, obviously you've got an LOL, so I know that's funny. And Two Rare Guys podcast, it's about eating wings and drinking beer, and decorating, right? So, and that's the funny part. I really actually have not had a lot of chicken wings. Every time I've had a beer over the last 2 months, like I have one beer and I feel like hell for the next 2 days. So I really haven't had any beer either. I'm pretty sure I boiled it down to the fact that I have a sweet tooth. My wife has a sweet tooth. My son has a sweet tooth. We share this common bond in our family of this sweet tooth, and we don't help each other out, right? I'll have a strong day, and Kylene will have a weak day. She'll have a strong day, and next thing you know, I'm shoving Dairy Queen in her face, and she loves Dairy Queen more than I do, which is crazy. So anyhow. Air fryer and Mick Ultra. It's a fix. There you go. Good morning, Sandy. Thank you. So anyhow, I love it. I appreciate the tips and this is great. And here's that's the whole wonderful part. We have so many amazing people around us, like Jim, like Todd, where people are willing to help. We're willing to share suggestions, but at the end of the day, we probably actually know what it is that we need to do. It's just how the heck do we actually do that, right? I can just say, okay, yep. I'm not gonna, what the heck? The Nike swoosh, right? Just do it, right? That's out there, and that is actually a strategy, and that's something that just do it, right? And we're going to talk about some strategies here in just a little bit. But what I want to kind of also share with you is that these feelings, right? That anxiety, that fear of, okay, I'm not going to get myself in better shape, or the fear of my business is not going to be successful, or that anxiety about this project coming up, or, I've got to do a live video, or, I've got to put something on. I got to reach outside my comfort zone, right? All those feelings that are associated with that, or even the feelings on the other side of, I succeeded, this is going well, I'm joyful, I'm happy, I'm content. All of those feelings. Here's the real secret. They're not a thing that is either good or bad, right? Feelings are not something that we need to try to avoid if we've labeled them bad, right? Anxiety, fear, sadness, all of those things. We don't need to avoid those things if we've quote unquote labeled them bad. And on the flip side of that, we don't need to work really hard to attract more of them because we've labeled them good. Feelings are actually a chemical way that our bodies regulate themselves. Our feelings should really be looked at as helpful tools, not labels, not good or bad. They should really be looked at as helpful tools. So maybe you're feeling anxious. Maybe that's an indicator. Most likely in my life, I've discovered that that's an indicator that I need to actually do something a little more drastic. I need to make a bigger change. I need to be prepared for things ahead. And maybe that feeling of being stuck is again, another indicator of I need to make a more drastic change. I need to take more consistent actions, some of those things. And then, on the other side of things, that feeling of joy or happiness or satisfaction, those can really indicate that you're just doing the right things, live in that greatness, own that, be that, do that. Again, it's not that you have to go seek it out and try to do more of it. It's just that indicator that, you're on the right path, be there, love that, live that kind of thing. So when we stop labeling these feelings as good or bad, and again, this, I know we're sitting here in Small Business Saturday and you're going, Aaron, what does this have to do with my business? It has everything to do with your business. I was fortunate enough to be part of a mastermind call last night where we talked about this very thing. I thought it was very interesting that this came up, knowing that I was going to have this Small Business Saturdays this morning. And that feeling of stuck happens in our business all the time. You don't know what to do. You don't know what the next step is. What is that next thing? How do we find those things out? But if we take some time to just kind of, for lack of a better term, to just sit with those feelings, to just kind of allow them to be, when you do that, and then you get real intentional and specific about kind of understanding how you can associate those things with a specific area, right? So again, for me, anxiety normally comes up when there's something on the horizon. And I've actually discovered that actually anxiety a lot of times leads to some of the best things that have happened in my life. I've got something big that I need to tackle. And that anxiety is just a mechanism for my body to say, hey, okay, let's do this. Let's move forward. This is something good's coming, right? So when you kind of sit in that and you take away the labeling of good or bad, but rather figure out what they're telling you, that's going to help a ton. And again, interestingly enough, as I started thinking about these things, as this topic came up, and everything around me seems to kind of come into this. So I actually also started reading this book called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It was recommended by one of our Success Group members, Heidi Wade. And it's been really helpful for me to kind of put language to these things that I was feeling, to these things going on with some of the emotions and some of the stuckness that I was feeling. So if you want to check out that book, I think it's a really great book. I just made a little short link here so it's easier to find. This will take you over to Amazon. You don't have to buy it from Amazon or anything like that. It just gives you all the details, and then you can buy it from your local bookstore, go rent it from your library or whatever. But Oursuccess.group /EI2, which stands for Emotional Intelligence 2.0. So Oursuccess.group /EI2. if you want to check out that book, Emotional Intelligence. All right. So that's, and I haven't even started getting into the topics here, but I wanted to kind of explain that first. I wanted to get that understanding. And so if you guys have some thoughts on that, when you feel like you're unstuck, right? We always say, I feel stuck. Well, that indicates that there is a feeling there. So how can you associate that feeling with something, right? Typically, for me, what that feeling of being stuck is the next thing that I have to do is probably something outside of my comfort zone. So I have to recognize that and then be willing to take some actions to move forward, right? So now that we kind of understand, let's identify and kind of determine the actions to take based on your feelings are telling you, I want to discuss 5 specific ways that you can actually get unstuck. All right. So like I said, if you guys want to bring up anything else that you've got about, and I'm pointing at the comments that I can see right down here. If you guys want to bring up some comments, thoughts about the feelings, right? we're talking about Small Business Saturday, and we're talking about feelings. Yes, there are feelings in business. I don't know if there's no crying in business. Maybe I know there's no crying in baseball from what I've heard from a movie, but there are feelings in business, right? We don't become a business owner just to be a robot and, yes, we need to add some data to it and stuff like that. But we get into business because there's something we're passionate about, something we want to do, something we want to be, something we want to have. And those are all feeling inducing things. So, Heidi, since you recommended it, I would assume that you would say great book, but yes, it is a very great book. My feeling right now, coffee. Yeah, my feeling right now, tea, right? I know it's early on the East or the West Coast, but it's well worth it to think about our feelings. Okay, cool. So we're all good with thinking about our feelings a little bit. All right. So we've got that. I want to talk to you then. I want to give you 5 ways that you can get unstuck. And these are things that have worked for me. These are things that I've learned from successful people. Jack Canfield. I've learned these from all sorts of different people. Brendon Burchard, Tony Robbins. These are people that stand out as people that know what the heck they're talking about. At least on the surface, and from what I've been able to tell, it works too for me. So I'm going to go with it, right? So the first thing here, and I've got a couple of little banners I'm going to put up here as we go. But when we hit that limiting belief, right? When we're in our own head about something, we have to recognize that is typically caused by a fear popping up. That fear is not, again, we're not labeling it good or bad. What it is it's a protection mechanism that warns us that we're pushing up against our comfort zone. Now, in prehistoric times, that kept us from getting eaten, right? It was that sense of that spidey sense, so to speak, of there's danger around the other side of that bluff, or around the other side of that big tree. There's something hiding up there. If I don't get some food, I'm dangerously low on the energy that I need to survive today. Right? But in today's world, those fears still happen, but they're less likely to kill us, right? They're more likely to just hold us back from doing that thing we need to do, from stepping out of our comfort zone. It basically manifests itself as this fear. And then that fear then creates these visual images in our head of reasons why it won't work, how you're going to be judged, the epic failure that's about to happen if you pick up the phone and make that call, right? Or whatever. Our imaginations can just run wild. And that's a good thing, right? That keeps us from doing these complete, utter lose our life type things. But we can also train our imagination to flip the script. So what we want to instead do is we want to intentionally imagine what could go right, right? If we're intentional and think about the things that could go right, imagine what that's going to be. So what's a limiting belief that you guys have right now? Allison says she's an East Coaster sitting in San Jose right now. So you're early, but you're late, right? That's there you go, Allie. All right. So anybody share a limiting belief that you have? I'll share mine that I'm kind of sitting in right now, or that I'm trying to sit in right now is that I can't lose the weight. I just, because of everything else I'm trying to do right now, I just don't have time to exercise. I don't have the ability to hold myself accountable to that because I'm working on so many other things, or whatever the excuses are, right? So that's a limiting belief that I just don't have that ability right now, today, to do the things that I need to do to get my body to a healthier state. Again, I'm not sick. I'm not in, I don't feel terrible or anything like that. I just know that I'm not healthy. I can feel it. I don't have the energy that maybe I need. All of that stuff. There you go. Wendy's got a limiting belief that she's not good at technology. So Wendy, I'm going to start with yours if you don't mind, and then I'll come back to mine. And if anybody else has got one, feel free to put that up there. So let's go through this in a kind of the phases, right? Okay. So limiting belief is I'm not good at technology. What happens from there is the next thing you probably imagine is it seems foreign, right? So you don't understand it. You don't know where to start. You imagine that if you try to do anything that's technology related, that you're just going to screw it up. You're going to become Ralph who wrecked the internet, right? If you guys have kids or have seen that movie, you're going to break something. You're going to make yourself look silly, right? Maybe your emails are not going to go through. Your whatever the case may be, it's not going to work. It's not going to look right. You're never going to get there, right? These are all the things that I would imagine if I was saying, I will break my website. Exactly. There you go. Okay. So now with that, okay, those are all the things that we've imagined. Now let's really take, Jerry says, I'm a Ralph for sure. And again, that statement that we tell ourselves, and I'm not picking on Jerry, we all say that thing. I'm a Ralph for sure. I say I'm not going to be able to lose the weight. I say, the imposter syndrome. Am I going to do the things that I say that I'm going to do? All of those things come up for all of us. Been there, done that on the email this week, right? We even have people that are supposed to be helping us and it doesn't work out and all this other stuff, right? So we've told ourselves all of these things. And when we tell ourselves these things, guess what things happen? Those things that we've been telling ourselves. That's exactly what happens. Well, what if we tried this? What if we tried and instead said, I'm imagining all the things that could go wrong. What if I intentionally imagine, Heidi, my work won't meet their expectations? Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Heidi, as well. What if we intentionally, right? This isn't, can you do it or will you do it or whatever. You have to make the decision to intentionally tell yourself this in your brain and then start imagining it, right? It's one thing to say, I'm not a Ralph, but what are you, right? I can figure out how this is going to work. I can find the resources that will help me. I'm willing to invest in what I need to invest in to make this happen. And once you start saying those things in the positive, for Wendy, how about my work will meet their expectations? Here's a bag I got from Heidi. Not only did it meet my expectations, it exceeded my expectations, and I'm excited to talk about it everywhere I go, right? So how about you imagine that? What happens if we imagine, for me, what happens if I imagine that I've been able to figure out how to mix in the exercise that I need. I've been able to figure out how to find foods that are more healthy for me, that satisfy the cravings that I need. I start imagining those positive things, but here's the trick. I have to then visualize them, right? I have to train my imagination to then see those end results, right? The happy customers, the website that's working, the website that's people are super excited about, the emails that people are seeing, the business that I'm generating because my website's going so well. So there you go. Jerry says, I do believe what you're saying will work. Exactly. Once we start saying those things, I do believe I can, and start making those the things that are happening in our head. And again, it won't happen right away. You're going to take one step forward and 2 steps back at first. And then what's going to happen is it's going to be 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And then you're going to get to 3 steps forward and 1 step back. And now you're 5 steps forward and maybe a half step back, right? But we have to start intentionally imagining what could go right. So that's the first thing that we want to do when we get stuck, is find out what it is that's making us stuck, sticking us, that's not right. Find out what it is that's making us stuck, And then from that, understand, be intentional, be aware of what the imagination is telling you that could go wrong. And then work really, really hard to vividly imagine the things that could go right. Right? So I think I can. I think I can. Thomas the train. I think I can. I think I can. And then it turns into I know I can. I know I can. And then it turns into I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And then it turns into yes, this is where I was supposed to be. Right? Not the I know I'm going to ruin this, so why even try? And then you're going to ruin it anyways, right? So there we go. That's number one. You guys are amazing and awesome. Thank you for being here, and thanks for sharing all that. So that's number one. All right, let's get to number two. Kind of falling in the same line of things, but I'm going to put my bag back there. The second thing that we can do to get ourselves unstuck is, again, we're coming up with these intentional ways of what could go right. But let's also then have some daily affirmations. Now, the number of affirmations, whatever it is, can be completely different for you. And let me put that banner up here real quick. So number two is we want to have daily affirmations. Now, whatever works for you is the right number. I happen to I've had a negative self-talk for a good chunk of my life. So I know I've got a lot of work to do. And fortunately, I am able to find time that I can go through this list. And my list is 50 things long. But your list can be as long as you need. It can be just a couple things long. It can be longer. Whatever you have time for. And this is something that can take, for me, it takes me about 5 minutes. For other people, it may take 2 minutes. For other people, it may take 1 minute. But what we need to do is we need to have positive daily affirmations. And here's the trick with these, is they have to be stated as a positive, and they also have to be stated as a present tense. Because when you do that, when you make it a positive, and when you make it in the present tense, it allows your subconscious to visualize what's going to work, and then it will go out and start creating that for you. So, for example, when we want to talk about business, one of my goals is to write a book. And so the positive affirmation that I have associated with that is, I'm grateful that over 100 people have bought my book before the year 2020 begins. Right? That's some tension, but that's good tension. That pushes me. I've only got 6 months, 7 months to write the book, get it out there, and get it in 100 people's hands that before the year ends. Or here's another one. One of my other goals is to have supported 1,000 businesses through masterminding. So another one of my affirmations is, I'm grateful I've supported over 100 businesses through masterminding, and they have achieved great success. Right? Another affirmation here, I'm grateful that lives are made better by our efforts with Oursuccess.group. And that efforts, right? That's the positive thing. I want effort. I want results. I want to move forward. When I talk about the trying to get my body in shape, one of my affirmations here is, I'm grateful I'm in control of my health and wellness. And another one is, I'm grateful I'm always able to maintain my ideal weight of 199 pounds, right? So that's the next thing you want to do. And the best thing that I can recommend with this is to have this list somewhere. I have it with my folder that I kind of use, and actually in one of the Our Success Group trainings coming up in June, I'm going to actually go through this thing as part of it and share it with you. But one of the things that I recommend with this is have your list of daily affirmations. Have it somewhere where it's easily accessible, first thing in the morning and right before you go to bed. The more often you can read these, the better. But I would say a minimum of first thing when you wake up, read through those affirmations. And it's not just a quick glance scan through. It's a read it, let it sink in, read the next one, let it sink in. Like I said, I do 50. I get it done in about 5 minutes. You can do 5, you can do 1, whatever it is that's going to get you closer to your goal. Put it in a positive way. Some people say, I'm so happy and grateful. I like to say I'm grateful. I'm proud. Whatever it is, as long as it's in a positive and it's in the present tense, as if you've already achieved it. So do that as soon as you wake up and right before you go to bed. All right. So there's number 2. That's the second way to get unstuck. And, you can put all these things together and go from there. Let's see here. Gusta, great comment. I'm sure we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein. Excellent. Excellent quote. Thank you so much for sharing that, Gusta. Much appreciated. All right. The third thing we want to do here is we want to lean in by taking small actions, right? The whole concept of leaning in, the concept here is that I'm not committing all the way to it. I'm just going to pretend's not the right word. Sorry. Let me back up. I'm going to lean into it, meaning I'm just going to try it, right? I'm going to try it on. So when you go and buy a new pair of shoes, you try them on, you put them on, they're on your feet, you stand up, you walk a little bit, you look at them, you see how they feel. You're leaning into that. You've tried them on. You haven't purchased them. You haven't made a 100% commitment to it yet, but you've tried it on. So I want to lean into it by taking small actions. And when I say take actions, as you can see on the banner here, that doesn't mean thinking, right? So one of the things that is talked about in the success principles here is what Jack calls the rule of 5. So where are you stuck? How can you take one step towards getting unstuck? And again, this is not thinking. You're stuck because you're thinking about it. So the only way to get unstuck is to actually take an action. So make it an action step. Make the call, set the date, ask for help, find a resource, ask the question, learn a skill, right? Research the person that's going to help you with the website. Let's see here. What were some of the other ones that popped up here? Heidi, won't meet my expectations. Find somebody like me that you can work with, that you've got a pretty confident idea that you're going to get some positive feedback from. I'm a pretty positive person. What are the one actions? Just put it out there. Heidi does live videos where she's sharing what she's doing. That's an action, right? Just keep taking those actions. And when I talked about the rule of 5, the more actions we can take, the better. So the way the rule of 5 works is you come up with 5. Again, these I'm not talking about solving the world's problems. I'm not talking about making everything happen inside of your business. I'm talking about tiny, small actions that you can take. And every day you pick out 5 things that must be done to move you towards being unstuck, to move you towards your goal, to move you forward. And so you pick out 5 things and you just start taking actions. We don't have to fully commit to we're doing this, we're all in. Let's just start taking some actions. And then once we start taking those actions, that'll build the momentum to get us to a point where we either go, okay, this is not working, I need to take different actions, or this is working, I need to be all in on that. And so that's that lean into it part. So we want to take actions, we don't want to think about it. So that's number 3. Number 4 here. Number 4, I want you to take one risk a day. I'm not talking about physical dangerous things. I'm not talking about going and jumping out of a plane or bungee jumping or whatever. I mean, if that's your thing, do it safely. That's fine. But I'm not asking you to go do something that's going to put you in physical danger. I'm asking you to go do something that's going to put you in I don't know, emotional danger is not exactly the word either, but something that's outside of your comfort zone. That's a risk, right? If it's outside of our comfort zone, it means to do it, we have to take a risk, a quote unquote risk. So think about that. Again, it can be really small, right? It's set the date. It's those small things. It's, pick up the phone. It's make the cold call. It's Make the warm call to a customer you know that's interested that you just haven't been able to do, or practice what you're going to actually say. Make the script. Again, not thinking about it, but just taking a risk. It could be saying no to a customer. You've got that gut feeling that this isn't going to work out. Well, that feels risky to you because you're saying no to a customer. That's a risk to take. So just take one risk per day, every day, Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, every day. If we take that one risk per day, again, tiny risks are fine, but take that one risk a day, because by taking that risk, what you're doing is you're basically working out that self-confidence muscle. We can't gain self-confidence without overcoming a risk, without surviving something that is quote unquote risky to us, right? Something that's outside of our comfort zone. Until we try it, our comfort zone won't expand. So just do that one little thing, and every day, one little thing every day. So take a risk every day. Allison says, stretch your boundaries. That's exactly it. Stretch those boundaries. All right. The fifth thing here. Oops, wrong button. Okay. The fifth thing we want to do is we want to celebrate our successes. We want to celebrate the accomplishments. We want to celebrate those risks that we overcame. We want to celebrate those small actions. We want to, and that can be different for you. That can be daily, that can be weekly, that can be monthly, that can be all of those things. As I mentioned, I've got this kind of little program that I've put together, and so I mentioned monthly. So part of the monthly is reviewing the month, kind of summarizing the different areas a little bit, just again, being in it, not judging, labeling, or anything like that, but just being in it. That's part of it. But the second part that's most important for me is I also then take and highlight the top 25 things that I accomplished, right? And these are the top 25 things from the entire month. So these are, some of the bigger things. And I'm celebrating those as I did this, right? I even wrote on top of my sheet here, list all the accomplishments, and then say, you achieved that, right? And so I write them all down. Actually, Kylene and I do this together now where we go back and forth. She celebrates one, I celebrate one, lots of high fives. It's just the two of us sitting there looking silly, but we love it, right? So that's monthly. Weekly, I do the same thing. What were the previous week's successes? What are the things that I got done? Some of them are big, some of them are small. This particular week that I pulled out of the folder here, we had just gotten back from our family trip that we took to Arizona. That's a big success. It was awesome. And just the fact that we were able to do that was a huge success. So some of that. But then, I don't know if I pulled it out or not. Let me see if I can find one real quick. Well, here's a blank one. I'll just use that because it's handy. But then this is daily. And what were the 5 things that I did the day before? And these maybe are some of the more minor things. I don't want to completely pull my entire folder apart here and spend 20 minutes trying to put it back together. But again, these can be those small things, that one risk, that little action that you took. And those all just build up, right? So now I've got a list. If I'm doing this daily, I've got a list of 30 times 5, 31, 29, 30, whatever, times 5 of these accomplishments that I've made. So I'm celebrating those successes. And by doing that, it helps that internal voice, again, start imagining what could go right. Now, we have a lot more examples of the things that went right and a lot less examples of the things that went wrong. Because when I've got 5 things a day, 25 big things a month, 7 big things a week or bigger things a week, all of those things, that's a lot of positives. That's a lot of what could go rights that now my brain's got in there, and I can go back and reference those when I get stuck, as opposed to going back and referencing all of the failures, all of the challenges, all of the things that didn't go the way I thought they would go, all of the things I broke, all of the times, which again, when you're able to step back and look at the bigger picture, we recognize the little, the failures, that somebody didn't like it, that this thing didn't work the way we wanted to, because that's our protection mechanism, right? That's what's kept us from getting eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. But I don't want you to lose those things, because those are valuable pieces of feedback. But what I want you to do is weight this on the other side with those positive things, with those successes, right? Because when we celebrate those, what's happening is we're rewarding our brains for those successes with the dopamines, that excitement, that joy. And when we do that, our brain goes, I love that. How do I figure out how to do more of that? And my subconscious brain goes to work for me. We need to put our subconscious brain to work, because our conscious brain, we've got to do the things to make our businesses run every day. You know, we've got to get the things done. We got to get the jobs done. So, Heidi, thank you for sharing this. I try to learn a new sewing skill weekly. That's a risk, because I never know if it's going to work and be liked. There you go. Heidi says that sounds like a 21-day challenge. I like that right there. In fact, I actually have that on my list to come up with a new one, because we're going to try to do that every quarter. And since we're in the midst of the second quarter here, that's let me bounce that one by Todd. I like that a lot, Heidi. Thanks for sharing that. They have just helped me check something off my list today. I love it. All right, here's the last thing that I want to share, and then I'll kind of close this out for you, and we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about around this. If you have questions, you have comments, you have concerns, you want to say, Aaron, you're completely off your rocker, whatever it is that's in your brain, let's get it out there. But I want to share this quote with you. The gentleman, I'm not familiar with him, but I love the quote. So let's share that quote. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. And I'm not even going to try his last name. Joe said that. Whoever Joe is, he's very, very wise when it comes to this. Again, this is what it is when it's this kind of sums it up nicely when it comes to being stuck. How do we get ourselves unstuck? You just have to start. And I know that that's easier said than done, but if we start implementing some of these strategies that we just talked about here, right? Intentionally picking out reasons why things will work, right? Imagine the best possible outcome as opposed to the worst possible outcome. That's number one. 2, daily affirmations before you go to bed, and when you wake up in the morning, minimum, but as often as you can. Can be 50, it can be 100, it can be 1, it can be 5, it can be 10, whatever it is that works for you. Start with just a few, right? My list actually started off with about 10 of them that were just more generic, that I had borrowed from some planner that I had gotten, or I can't remember where I got it from, whatever. And then it's kind of grown from there, right? So your list might grow. Number 3 is we're going to lean into it, and we're going to just take actions. We're going to take actions, not thinking. We're just going to take actions. We're going to maybe use the rule of 5. We're going to take that actions. Number 4 is we're going to take one risk a day, not physical risk, but one thing. We're going to do one thing outside of our comfort zone a day, right? And just continue to work that muscle. But it's not, and it's not just taking one risk and just making it kind of that same risk, because once you've taken that risk, once you've done that thing, it's no longer a risk. Right? You know, you've got that. So you got to do the next thing. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Always be looking for that next risk that you can take. So take one risk a day. And then the last thing is we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate our achievements daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, as often as you can, right? And get them out there, celebrate, build that momentum. So if we do that, then that will get us started. But again, to be great, we just have to start. So start there. All right. So to close this out, I want you guys to all commit to putting these tools to work. And we need to use our feelings for what they are. They're indicators that it's time for a change or time to do more of something. So I want to encourage everybody that's tuned in right now, or anybody that's hearing this at a later date, or whatever the case may be. I want to encourage you to take some time as soon as we're done here, whenever you can today, right? Don't let this wait. The sooner you can do it, the better. As soon as we're done, find 30 minutes alone, whatever works for you, but sooner the better. Find 30 minutes and identify 3 meaningful actions that you can take this month to get unstuck, to get out of this rut. And what actions, maybe those actions sometimes might need to be drastic, but what can you change that you would be willing to, if you tried it out, if you leaned into it at some point this month, you'd be willing to 100% commit to making that change, to doing those things. Then I want you to make some sort of public declaration of what those actions will be. Make sure someone else knows about it, right? It could be public, like a live video like this. It could be public, like an accountability group or maybe a partner. It could be your family, your spouse, partner. So however you make it public, meaning somebody outside of your own head knows about it, that's public. However you feel comfortable doing it, make sure that they know what it is and what the 3 things that you're willing to at least lean into are. And so I'll give you an example here. As I said at the beginning, one of the ruts I feel like I'm in right now is my health. I need to lose the weight. So here are mine. Here's my 3 things. And I'm going to lean into this. I'm not going to eat any desserts for the month of May. And I'm pretty sure I just heard my wife scream in agony, but I'm just kidding. She can do whatever she wants. I am not going to eat any desserts for the remainder of the month of May, except I have to have one exception. And whatever works for you guys, don't make too many exceptions. Like, for example, I made a commitment a while ago, and this has actually helped at least keep me from continuing to gain, is I cut out all soda except for on full moons, right? So you may have to give yourself a cheat day, and that's okay. But my exception for the month of May is my son's birthday is on Monday. So I will indulge in the birthday cake that we have for his birthday. So that's my exception. But beyond that, I'm not going to have any ice cream, cookies, brownies, other high sugar snacks. I'm going to cut out desserts. I'm going to lean into that. I'm going to see if I can do it, right? I'm going to give it my best chance. So that's one. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to do some stretching, do some yoga or some sort of exercise movement for 30 minutes, 3 times per week for the month of May. If it's all back to back, whatever, as long as it's 3 times per week, I'm going to do that. Right? That's a good place for me to start. Many times I've tried to, I'm just going to do it every day. And I just haven't been able to do that yet. So this is where I'm leaning into this. I'm going to do it 3 times a week. The third thing, I mentioned I tried the 2-minute planks and I couldn't keep it going. I think I got like a 7-day stretch in there and it just didn't happen. So the third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 1-minute plank, because I discovered that because my core is not strong enough yet, that 2-minute plank was probably too long. And it was hurting my back, and I need to get that core firing first. So I'm going to do a 1-minute plank 5 times a week for the month of May. Now, occasionally I'll do it live online just for the entertainment value for everybody, or just to hold myself accountable. But I'm not committing to doing it every time online. But for myself personally, I'm going to lean into doing it 5 times a week. I'm going to do a 1-minute plank. All right. So there's the 3 things, and that's basically how it works. And so I'd love to hear yours. Let's see here. Aerial fitness. I've seen that, Allie. You're a rock star. That I'd love to see if I could do it, but I gotta start a little bit smaller. I think you're a bit more advanced than I am for that. But I think it's pretty badass. I appreciate you sharing the picture of that. Todd will say, I'm thinking of you when I'm at Whitey's. There you go. Well, see, so I'm going to lean into it. You go to Whitey's for me and you can tell me all about it or whatever. So let's see here. So Heidi, help me out. I don't get the first part of this. ECH, one could be a 21-day challenge. Each one could be a 21-day challenge, I think. Okay, each one could be a 21-day challenge. There you go. I like it. Todd says you're going to get chocolate wasted on Monday. There's a good chance that he wanted a marble cake, and I enjoy a marble cake, so I'm looking forward to that. Gusta says, according to the research published in Circulations, sitting down at a desk burns roughly 20 calories per 15 minutes, while standing at a desk burns 22 calories per 15 minutes. There you go. So a standing desk, there's a way to to just make a move. Yeah, they say sitting is the new smoking, and I definitely find myself sitting a lot. So there you go. That's another way that we could get ourselves moving. And again, I'm just using the weight thing for me, but this could be, something that you're stuck in your business, right? I'm not getting enough new customers. I'm not whatever. So this works across the board, but if we can have that balanced life, it'll help everything in our business too. So take 30 minutes, come up with those 3 things, share them publicly, do all that. I like the 21-day challenge idea, Heidi. We're going to see if we can make that work. Todd, we need to talk about that real quick at some point, maybe today, maybe Monday, whatever. All right. So that's what I've got. What do you guys want to talk about? There you go. Allison says, every time you talk on your cell phone, walk while you talk. I am definitely a walker and talker. And so that's a great point. I just don't like to talk on my cell phone. So I'm not much of a call person. I don't know why, but I like that. I will make sure to make that more intentional, though. That's a great idea for sure. And Gusta says, you say small doable steps. There you go. Just standing, getting a standing desk or making it a standing opportunity is a perfect small step to take. I love it. All right. So again, whatever else you guys got, bring it, put it in the comments right now. I want to tell you what's upcoming here. Again, this month of May is a preview week for Club OSG. So this will be out here on our Facebook page and also over at Live OSG for the balance of May. Upcoming here next week, we'll be talking about what to do when your why changes. Yeah, Todd is right. The reason I don't like talking on my cell phone is every time I talk on the phone, a new project is born, and I've got plenty of projects right now. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so upcoming next week, what to do when your why changes, right? What we thought our why was, maybe it's evolved, maybe it's changed, and how do we manage that, right? How do we make that change? I think that happens. One of the biggest why changers for a lot of people is you have kids, or your job changes, or there's some change in your family situation, maybe a death or something like that. So these things do happen. How do we manage that? What do we do about it, right? So we'll talk about that next week. The week after that, we will talk about how to find your life purpose. And again, you're sitting there going, okay, we're talking Small Business Saturdays here, right, Aaron? Is this business related? Bonus here, this is business related. Your life purpose will drive your business faster than anything else that you can do. By truly understanding and discovering what your life purpose is and involving your business in that life purpose will be the fastest way. This is not going to come out right, but I'm just going to say it anyhow. The fastest way to fast track your success. How about that? So how to find your life purpose will be after that. Plus, beyond that, we've got some more great stuff coming up. Facebook Ads 101 is something I'm going to do here coming up probably early June, and I think June 5th. And then I think the week after that, I think we've got it nailed down now. Allie, let me know if I'm off base here. But the week after June 5th, which is what, June 12th? Sounds right? Yeah, June 12th. Allie's going to join me on here, and we're going to talk about creating and using a priority matrix. And there will be homework, so stay tuned for that. But because if you do the homework, this priority matrix thing is going to be super valuable for you. So, and Allison says yes. Allie says, we always say with our businesses, if you don't measure it, you can't fix it. This is also true with nutrition and fitness. If you really want to reduce your sugar, track your total carb intake. It will be eye-opening. Great point, Allie. As somebody that's a data hipster like you, that is a fantastic idea, and I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Awesome. Cool. All right, you guys. So there we go. Hour of hopefully what I believe is very valuable information if you'll put it to use. So that's all I've got for you today. So unless you guys have anything else, I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate all the comments and feedback, and looking forward to talking to you guys next week about what to do when your why changes. And also stay tuned for Tuesdays with Todd coming up. We've got some embroidery talk on Two Regular Guys. We just wrapped up our 400th episode on Friday. So 401, we're bringing the guys from Embroidery Nerds in, and Eric is going to co-host with me. So Eric and I will be talking to Justin and Jeff from Embroidery Nerds, and really looking forward to it. Chuck and Jim, thank you guys both for being here. Appreciate it very much. Love it. Hopefully that helps. And everybody, high fives. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Remember, take that 30 minutes to come up with the 3 things that you're willing to lean into and be willing to commit to those 100% if they start working for you. All right. So pick 3 big things that you can do to get you unstuck, and make a public declaration of that. Again, if your public is just sharing it with your partner, that's fine. The more public you can make it, the more likely you're going to be to do it. So I'd encourage you to go as public as you can. Thanks, Allie. I appreciate the congratulations. Wendy, you have a great day as well. And I will talk to everybody next Saturday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.